Hi, I'd like to take a few minutes to give you the answers to page 26 and 27 in your notebook. So our goal was that we could identify the different parts of a linear equation. When you're looking at slope-intercept form, m is the slope, b is the y-intercept, and then the equation that you will be able to say in your sleep before too much longer is y equals mx plus b. When you're looking at a table, you can find the slope by subtracting the y's and then on top of subtracting the x's. So this is the change in y. How much do your y's change? When we say change, it's subtraction over how much do your x's change. So change in y over change in x. Look at the y-intercept of the value. Look at the y-intercept as the value of y, where the x value is equal to 0. And then you find the slope by calculating rise over run. And then when you look at the y-intercept as the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. So then we did this one yesterday. So we're going to look over at page 27. It says Jackson pays for his family to play golf. He first rents a golf cart for everyone, and then he pays a certain amount per round of golf that his family plays as shown in the graph. So you'll see the graph. What is the slope? Well, it changes. It's here at 20, and it goes up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So it changed 50 and went over 2 when you look at the rounds. So the slope would have been 50 over 2, which equals 25. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. That's right here. And so that's 20. And then the equation will be y equals mx plus b. So y equals 25x plus 20. What does the slope represent? Well, remember, you can look at the labels. It's rise over run, and so it's going to be cost per round. So the change in y is in cost, the change in x is in rounds. So your slope will tell you the total cost per round. In this case, that's 25, so it's $25 per round. And then what does the y-intercept represent? Well, that's going to be how much he had to pay at the beginning. That's going to be your starting value. It talks about in the problem how he first has to rent a golf cart and then he pays per round. So this golf cart rental is really how much, or is what your y-intercept is. So the golf cart rental was $20. The cost of golf cart rental is $20. Okay, and then, hopefully that'll help you. And then looking down here, this one, they give you a table. So I had to be careful because I actually did this one opposite for whatever reason. But remember, when you're finding your slope, it's the change in y over the change in x. So y changed 3, x changed 20. So your fraction will be 3 over 20. Sometimes if it's easier in word problems, like I'm totally always okay with a fraction, but in word problems, sometimes it's easier to put it as a decimal. So the slope would be 0.15 or 3 over 20. The y-intercept, where x equals 0, y equals 0. So this one would be 0. And then when you put it into an equation, y equals m, which is 3 over 20, x plus b, which is 0. Now, you know, when you're adding 0, you don't really need the plus 0. I put it in there so you could see the form of y equals mx plus b. What does the slope represent? Well, if it's 0.15, remember, think about your labels. The change in y, so it's 0.15 gallons per mile traveled. So you would use 15 hundredths of a gallon for every mile you traveled. That's what the slope represents. And then what does the y-intercept represent? Well, when x is 0, so when you have gone 0 miles, you've used 0 gallons of gas. So sometimes the y-intercept makes perfectly good sense in real world problems. I hope this is one of them. When I get done filling my gas tank up, it's 0. I've used 0, or it's full, so I have used 0 gallons of gas. So hopefully that will help you. And then, as you know, I don't put the page 28, I'm not going to put the toolkit answers on here. because you can look them up as easily as me to put them on there. So click on the link. And remember, if the link doesn't have the word you're looking for, no problem. You can just Google it. Or I learned this new trick. Check this out. If I highlight clustering and then right click, I can put define clustering and it will pull open the dictionaries. Well, sometimes, I don't know what that's saying over there, but a lot of times it'll pull up the dictionary's definition for you to copy in there. And then you would just need to find an example. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions on pages 26 to 28.